Hello, I'm Tan, the TamBoTC channel, and I wanted to talk about something brief. Um, I'm starting another character because I'm going to be doing a vampire run. I actually start two other characters because I just had another idea for a character. I keep having more ideas for this game. Um, but I wanted to talk about, I'll talk about some of the things with the Gamefest because I saw that with Dave the other day. And there was one thing that stood out to me, and I've talked about in the past. There's some older videos, though I don't know where you can find them. I don't have them in a playlist yet. Where I'm talking about wanting, and I think even randomly in just some of my streams, more so wanting a cyberpunk JRPG than I did what we got. Uh, and then I saw the Wuthering Waves trailer for the, I guess it's cyberpunk, like extra content. It's based on Edge Runners. While I wouldn't say that the anime was the best thing of like video game animes, it was just way more interesting, colorful, had more interesting characters and colorful characters. Hell, if you made live action versions of those characters and put them next to the design, or made, you know, live action, like whatever the design you would call the characters from the video game, and you put them like in a lineup next to each other, I just think that the characters in the video game are so drab and boring looking in comparison. Like, they're just much more colorful and interesting, and I liked their characters more. Where the characters range from most of them having that goddamn jacket with the glowing collar to just some of the most annoying, like, typical things I've seen too much in Cyberpunk. From that dumbass haircut where it's souped on one side, shaved on the other, which even the female version of V and a lot of the promotional stuff had, was just really boring to me. And I hate that haircut at this point. I call it the Cyberpunk haircut. It's so freaking ugly and overused at that point. Even in that freaking game. And I've been wanting a JRPG just to find out, and when they show me the trailer, I'm like, that could freaking work. I'm just thinking to myself, it could freaking work. They could have made it work. A JRPG anime of freaking Cyberpunk would work way better than the game. And there's other things I would talk about with freaking, like, I should make the video showing some of the stuff I pulled up, but I pulled up some other stuff. I remember people trying, like, nowadays people defend Cyberpunk to the point that it's like the No Man's Sky of those types of games, recovering from and making up for stuff the same way as No Man's Sky. I just don't put it on that same level, honestly, as well as there's just plethora of other problems. People it's weird how it feels like the fans swept under the rug some of the devious things that company did at the time. Because didn't they also have crunch hours? I'm pretty sure I actually linked to my Discord. I'm pretty sure there's a Yangi video talking about that very thing where the company also had crunch on that. And I think there was talk about Witcher 3 possibly having some of that too, but not to the same extent Cyberpunk. It was 4 years, by the way, not 8 years of the game's in development, of course. But even with that said, I looked up the list of games that came out in 2020 and were developed around like a similar amount of time or whatever as Cyberpunk, and there were still a lot of successful games that managed through COVID to release in 2020. So I just really don't think it was that big a deal as people made it out to be, that's what hurt Cyberpunk. And then you factor in the crunch time. Also, that game, even to this day, somehow over advertises itself with freaking action figures and statues, action figures, and comic books, the freaking anime. Even though that's not really what they were responsible for. making, they over-advertised more than Fallout did. Fallout didn't have as many, like, of that kind of stuff until, finally, until the goddamn television show came out. Think about that. Think about that. They freaking merchandised and advertised the hell out of it. And you know, now that I think about it, over all the times I've talked trash about Cyberpunk, I think I know what its fan base is. I think I've even known of at least half of its fan base, or a decent percentage. That feels kind of like the pretentious fan base of Fallout New Vegas, honestly. Being just people who wanted a genuine Cyberpunk game. Okay, I can understand that. I can see why you want that so badly. And there's probably people also fans of the Cyberpunk tabletop that are in there. But I also think it is a combination of Gen Z fans too, which I'm not going to say is a problem, but in this case I think it's a problem. Because I don't see them as always liking the best stuff. I mean, you can love Cyberpunk. Hell, I've heard people talk about how Cyberpunk gave them what Skyrim gave people like me. But I still know people who say the same thing about Mass Effect Andromeda, and I'm not freaking lying about that. I actually got comments about people saying that Mass Effect... When I made my Mass Effect Andromeda videos talking about those games and, like, why I felt like they were freaking hot garbage, somebody, like, literally one of the first comments I got from somebody was that it's the best RPG they ever played. I'm just thinking of people who played both Mass Effect Andromeda and Cyberpunk. I'm just thinking, man, they must have a small library of games on Steam, because like they probably only play 5 games. I understand if you're somebody busy with a job and you only have certain games you want to play. But I remember also that video trying to talk about how Cyberpunk has a better like themes than Fallout New Vegas, just at the last second to basically kind of go back on some of the stuff they're saying, because they're suddenly like at the end like, oh look, I know there's all this other stuff these games do differently from one another, and one does technically do better than the other one. It's just like, guys, stick with your freaking the theme of your video. Don't give up the third of the way through. Like, bro, and there's a lot of reasons I still don't like Cyberpunk. And once again, if you like Cyberpunk, once again, I'm not trying to, and I know I come at Cyberpunk so hard these days, but things like this that come up just make me realize, like, what we could have gotten. Some of the cool things we could have gotten. And I would have preferred a JRPG version of Cyberpunk, honestly, after seeing Wuthering Waves. Like, come on. Where the frick is that? But yeah, I'm not fighting much because I'm focused on talking about this, as well as I just found out that they're gonna do all the work for me. Thank you. I could get XP out of there though, but I want to focus on my goal, which is to have my character become a vampire. So I'm trying not to do too many levels up with other things. It's kind of the same thing I did with my warlock character, where I'm trying to focus on like certain skill trees that character is in, or that I want that character be in. So I'll have to see how I build this character. I want to be a stealth archer or any of that. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about with the Cyberpunk stuff. I've already talked trash about Cyberpunk in the past. There's going to be people who, of course, are not going to give a crap. And by the way, for those people who say who gives a crap about your opinion, you're on frickin' YouTube. The place where you go to watch people for opinions. Thank you for letting me point out your hypocritical flaw. I've gotten comments like that, no doubt, where somebody says, I don't care about your opinion. I've gotten that. And I'm just thinking, bro, you're on freaking YouTube. You're on the internet. The place of opinions. What do you mean you don't care? Yeah, you don't care. That doesn't mean somebody else won't care. So shut the frick up with your pointless comment. God damn, some of the dumbest comments I've ever, and most hypocritical I've ever seen on a freaking platform called YouTube. Good job. The irony of trying to make me look stupid when you can do it yourself. Oops, sorry, Hadvar. Is just freaking crazy. Where's Hadvar going? Okay, there we go. How much space do I have? But yeah, I'm working on a vampire build. I might make another one. I wanted a Argonian vampire, but I just thought of another cool thing. I want to make a Count Orlok character and make him probably an elf, dark elf. I'll figure it out. But I want to make a Count Orlok because I love that idea and I love Nosferatu. It's great. I still think that old black and white movie holds up. Like, I remember that kind of scaring the crap out of me with, like, just, like, the hallway scene. It was freaking creepy. And I think it has that same goddamn... I'm talking about other stuff that... but I just wanted to briefly mention, like, what I'm doing. And I always found that... You know how the Ring movie had the whole found footage thing? That, like, if you watch a VCR version of the game, it's a lot creepier than the other versions. That's kind of the same feeling I get from that. Same with the original Silent Hill game on the PS1. Like, there's just an unsettling vibe to it, being on an older device that makes it work somehow. Weirdly, some horror games do age really well, even for their time. There's this other guy that has the... Wasn't there another guy with, like... Oh. Hey, look, it's Cyberpunk. Before it got mostly fixed, there's still glitches in it.
Let's see where this goes.
I remember, who is it? It's Terrorizer and Nogla in their recent Elder Scrolls memes video. They were talking about if people like complaining about games being broken and stuff. Like, just have fun with it. You don't have to make big complaints about it. Here's the problem with that. If you have games like Fallout 76, which I also freaking hate on the same level as Cyberpunk, but I talked more about Cyberpunk. Honestly, I should trash more on Fallout as well. Fallout 76 and Cyberpunk in the original state they came in, you would not be freaking saying that Nogla. Not only is it a freaking waste of money on a game that barely works, you want to be immersed in and you want to have fun with without something taking you out of it, the experience. And while not every person's looking for that, there's people looking for that, and that's probably what the pissed off people are feeling. So don't freaking exclude that. That's freaking ignorant. But anyways, if you do enjoy any of the games that are mentioned, that's you. You do you. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Let me see if I just wanted to make my 2 cents about the game. I thought it was interesting subjects to bring up. Also, another thing, I remember when Frostbreak made his video on the Cyberpunk and DLC, he also shared a lot of the same problems. I've mentioned also Manly Reviews, which changed his name now, so now I gotta remember his other frickin' name. But and I remember Beat 'em Ups and Actman's videos also still age well, because the subjects they're mostly talking about aren't about the glitches for the most part. They're talking about other elements of Cyberpunk. Watch this. Hell yeah. Edward, don't get in the way. There we go. Yeah, no kidding, no one's here now. Let's watch those spiders drop down. I love bow and arrow combat in this game. There's no wonder why stealth archer is talked about. Oh, never mind.
What next? Giant snake.
Yes. They're in ESO. ESO is another game I didn't really like when that originally came out. There's another one. I like it better now, but there's still problems I have with it. But, yeah. And the Cyberpunk DLC is actually really good and gives me hope for a really good, like, I can see a really good sequel coming out of Cyberpunk 2077. But goddamn, do I kind of wish I wanted that JRPG more than the game I got. It's just more disappointing. Other people were way more hopeful than me and had more hope for. I feel those people are cool, and I appreciate that they stood strong by Cyberpunk. But at the same time, it's like there's also people that are dickheads. I know a few that went over that. I mean, there's dickheads in every audience, honestly, but I'm talking dickheads that really just like feel like the New Vegas audience, honestly. It's just like, and it's not even for a game that's really worth that kind of audience, if I'm being honest. So that's what makes it hurt more than something like than like Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas, it's like when I replayed that game, I'm like, okay, I can see why people hold this to the standard. Cyberpunk, I never got that feeling of like, okay, I can see why people hold this up to the standard and love that it gets today. I never got that same feeling with Cyberpunk, but I eventually got that feeling with Fallout. I am planning on wanting to replay Cyberpunk. I just got to make sure I get a graphics card that can run it well. That's a big thing that I've been focusing on for my PC, as well as I need more storage. My storage device is getting packed, sadly, and I'm only able to have so few games on there, unless they're all of small volume, which I hate of a lot of new games nowadays, having just so much fucking storage attached to them. This was meant to be a shorter video also, but whatever. But I hope you had fun with it nonetheless, and or found something interesting. I shouldn't say fun. It's not really meant to be fun. It's me talking about something I want to talk about. And I've been known as like the cyberpunk hater amongst mostly my friends group, but I can see it from other people too. But I want to see certain things with Cyberpunk succeed. I also wanted to make a video about CD Projekt Red, where I just don't see them as that big a company as ever, because people make out that CD Projekt Red is one of the best RPG game making companies, and the only two games they're known for is Cyberpunk, now at least, and Witcher 3. I say Cyberpunk now because for a majority of its years of life, it was a glitchy mess that people freaking were very disappointed of. But people only knew what Witcher 3 is. You remember how when people finally understood and knew what Dark Souls was after like Dark Souls 3 hit? And Sekiro and such, people actually went back on YouTube channels. You can see a lot of YouTube videos of people going back and actually replaying the first two Dark Souls, even Demon Souls, like Shenpai and such. But when The Witcher 3 came out and people were asked to play Witcher games, people always started with the third one. Nobody was like, hey, you should play the first two. And it's funny, like, people with Frostbreak and such, it's like, oh, will they do that with him? No, they did Witcher 3. And I'm just thinking, somebody's going to make an excuse of, oh, he wouldn't enjoy it. But you made him play freaking Morrowind and other old-ass games like Redguard and Battlespire, so why didn't you freaking ask him to play freaking Witcher 1 and 2? Like, nobody remembers those games. I don't know what I want to focus on here. I think I'm going to focus on this, because a vampire needs to be stealthy in order to feed on people.
Take charge of your own fate, you know.
Thank you, Hadvar, you freaking dick. Sorry. But yeah, I never got that with the Frostbreaks. Like, why nobody asked people to play the first two Witcher games? They're not bad games. Here's the problem that I noticed with that too is like when it came to Bethesda, I actually liked playing Morrowind and their other games on console too. They were of course really awesome and well known for their PC versions, but I liked playing their console counterparts as well. I played Morrowind's freaking Xbox original. I even owned Morrowind's Xbox original counterpart. Like that we both used bows there. Oh, there's a third wolf. What? He's got it. I'm just gonna.
Must have scared them off.
No, you just killed him, Hadvar. You didn't scare him off. But yeah, I like playing them on multiple platforms. With The Witcher, though, the first Witcher was just on PC, so understandably so. And I think people only just start to remember the other Witcher games exist because of the remake. But when Witcher 2 came out and was on, they were trying to make it for the work on the 360. Bro, I preferred the P's. Like, I played it first for. Oops, sorry. I played it first for the 360, and it was like, wow, this game just does not work. Does not belong on an Xbox console or any console for that matter. It just did not control well, or the controls were just like, ooh, rough. But when I finally got to play it on PC, I was like, holy crap, this makes sense now. Why it was so ass on there. It's still great with its story and characters and such, but god, that gameplay was just not approachable. They just did not find a solid way to make that work. And I can admire the fact that like they went through a lot of trials and tribulations trying to get their game where it is today. But still, it doesn't make me understand why people hold freaking CD Projekt Red as one of the greats. When they're only known for 2 games, people forget most of their other games existed. Hell, there are people even remember the older Obsidian and BioWare and frickin' Bethesda games that they talk about. You got Bethesda with a bunch of Elder Scrolls games, like an entire Elder Scrolls series. That's already more games than the 2 games that CD Projekt Red is known for. I love that they're taking their turns going in. And then, line up! But also, you got Obsidian, which you know Obsidian's known for a frick ton of games now. The Outer Worlds games, there's 2 of those. You got 2 Pillars of Eternity games. People even remember Dungeon Siege 3. You got frickin' KOTOR 2. I'm not going to count Dungeon Siege. You got the frickin' 3 Fallout games they worked on when they were Black Isle, working with under Interplay, I believe. Or is it the other way around? I can't remember. I can't remember if they're also responsible for Fallout Tactics or Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, but whatever. That's already 8 games. That is 8 games. What is CD Projekt Red known for? 2. And they're held at the same degree as a company like that. Frick off. And then you got BioWare. 3 Mass Effect games, unless you count Andromeda. I don't. The entire Dragon Age series, which I only count 2 or 3 of them, maybe. That's already 6 games. Then you got the first 2 Baldur's Gate games. Bro, how's CD Projekt Red? You got Neverwinter Nights also. I almost forgot about that. Does Jade Empire? I think Jade Empire would count. But yeah, like already companies with more games that they're known for and still talked about than CD Projekt Red. I feel like I'm the only one that talks about Witcher 1 and 2, and even I don't talk about it to the degree that others probably should. But yeah, it is just baffles me, the freaking blindsided love. And also, another thing I forgot to mention is, of course, another reason I think Cyberpunk is so big is when it came out, we have a bunch of Gen Zers, and I'm not saying anything about Gen Z fans being a problem or Gen Z, whatever you want to say. But you can tell that's where a lot of that audience probably comes from. Besides the previously mentioned ones. So I can see to an extent why Cyberpunk's as big as it is. It's not entirely necessarily a audience of the type of fans other games would be for. You probably could even argue the same thing with The Witcher 3. It's probably a lot of Gen Z fans too. Hell, there's some of those some millennial fans or whatever of Skyrim even. But yeah.
Take what you need, my friend. Within reason, of course. Until next time.
Did you really see a dragon? What did it look?
But yeah, I just never got that. Just so weird how people get over something like CD Projekt Red. I do have a lot of hope for Witcher 4 as well. Yes, Fangdal, that's a chicken. Don't mess with it. The guards will get pissed at you if you do. But yeah, I never got the hype for a company that barely made many games that people know them for. So I just found that so shocking to myself. And I don't want to talk anymore about CD Projekt Red's frickin' Cyberpunk game until I see a really good sequel out of it. And yeah, I am one of the people that I didn't buy Cyberpunk, by the way. My friend Dave did, and we game shared it. And I was still heavily disappointed by that game, and I didn't even buy it. Similar thing with Fallout 76, and I hate them equally. They both equally have a similar story too, to how they came to be, and just the nonsense they went through that was revolved around them, whether for oops, I sold my weapon, whatever, I'll get a new one. Yeah, you can have all of this. But yeah, I just never understood that crap. It's just so weird to me too that that game became as known as, I'll keep those just in case, became as known as it did when there are just so many scenarios that it just shouldn't have. I don't know. I really don't. But here we are, still talking about it. And I bring it up again because I actually thought the Wuthering Waves thing looked really cool. Huh. That campsite isn't there. Hold on a second. What if I did this? There's a campsite usually there. Hold on. Can I use their bed?
I trust you're not planning any trouble.
No, I'm not planning any trouble. Oh, they let me sleep here. Sweet.
Friendly spot, huh? Listen, I'm going to lay up here.
I understand, Hedvar. Are you gonna come outside? Oh, I didn't teleport him outside. Interesting. Let's see if this is, set up. No, it's still not set up. Huh, there's usually, a campsite here. Interesting. I gotta look into that. That might be something related to survival mode or something else. I don't know. But anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about. I hope you found this interesting. I already said that stuff earlier, thinking I was going to end the video then. And I'm sorry that I yapped on forever. But nonetheless, I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below if you did. And I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye!